What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over all of the new CCP Carina challenges, the community / creator challenges that just came out in the game yesterday, Thursday, February 5th. February 15th, right? February 15th was the date because the 14th was Wednesday, right? So I've already 100% all of the challenges on my main account. As you can see, I'm on my free-to-play account right now, where I have done none of them. So I'll be going over every single challenge in the order in which I tackled them yesterday on my live streams. If you haven't already, go check them out. 2 separate streams. My first stream, I tackled all of the Stark Spidey challenges, and then the Tiger and Mojo challenge, so lags and fintechs. And then in my second stream, I did the Gauntlet runs, which were Mike's challenges. So all in the same day, 2 separate streams. Go check them out if you haven't already. But in this video, I'm going to be going over how I tackled them, the characters I recommend ranking up, the paths to take for certain challenges. Certain challenges you need to take one path and there's no other option, but for the Stark Spidey one there's some options and I'll have some recommendations. And just some overall thoughts about who you should rank up and what you should do to prioritize your resources and how to tackle this in the most efficient way possible. So in the order in which I tackled them, I went for Legacies first. So I went for the 7.3 Kang and 7.4 Kang first. Highly recommend rank 5 Stark Spider-Man. Not rank 4, gotta be rank 5. I was doing some apothecary farming earlier. Has to be at least rank 5. I recommend Sig 200, and if you can ascend him, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Mine was not ascended, but a rank 5 Sig 200 5-star with a relic will do absolutely fine. We'll be able to do both of the Stark Spider-Man challenges. So here's my pro tip for the 7.3 Kang. As you can see, this link over here, this is the path that you want to use Stark Spidey on, this tech path right here, with the Gloves of Wrath, Scrap Wars. This is a nice path for him. It allows him to get some additional Fury damage, and it allows for him to benefit from the armor break as well on parry. So this is the path you want to take, but you don't want to start with Cyclops. You want to start with Night Thrasher. Why? Is because Night Thrasher disables the Neurokinetic Paradox Prowess node. And what that does for Kang is it allows you to start the fight with a certain amount of prowess per paradox you have. So if you have at least 9 to 10 prowess, you're going to be dealing normal damage within the fight, as well as having 9 to 10 prowess effects to increase the damage of your special attacks. Now this works for Tech, Mutant, and Mystic characters, so if you do the first fight, the first Night Thrasher fight here with Stark Enhanced Spider-Man, and finish with at least 9 to 10 Paradox, and then take the Black Widow path for the rest of the lane, the fight against Kang is going to be significantly easier, and you're going to thank yourself for taking that a little annoying Night Thrasher fight earlier, because it's going to save you a lot of resources, especially in Phase 4, where Phase 4 can typically be very annoying. You're dealing normal damage the whole time. So I highly recommend doing that for the 7.3 Kang, and you should have a fantastic time. It should be a fun challenge. You should really enjoy it. Just brush up on your 7.3 Kang abilities. Just read his abilities. That's what I did on the stream. That's all I needed to do, and I was all good. This challenge, I will try and remember the items I spent. This challenge I did itemless, so no items were spent on this one for my main account. I'm not going to say for my main account every time, because you know I'm not on my main account right now, but just for the sake of the initial time I said it, just for one time. But you'll know going forward when I say this is how many items I used. Obviously, it's on my main account. So 7.3 Kang, that's my strategy for that. Let's look at 7.4 Kang. Again, I'm just going in order for the challenges that I tackled from start to finish. What did I start with first, then second, and so on. So for 7.4 Kang, there is a lane down here that highly benefits tech characters, and it starts with Mr. Sinister. So this is your ideal lane for Stark Spidey in the 7.4 Kang challenge. The Power Tactician node really helps just build up your damage, although you do have to do one very important thing. You have to finish a 5-hit combo or land 5 hits and then parry. Once you do that, you can get the armor to remove the dress code node, because every 5 hits in your combo you get a steadfast, and then when you parry you get an armor. So you get the 5 hits combo for the steadfast, parry, get the armor, dress code is removed, and now every time you parry you get Fury. So this is definitely the path for Stark Spidey. Makes it an absolute breeze. I didn't use any revives on the path itself, And then when I got to Superior Kang, it was just a learning experience, remembering how to fight Superior Kang. Again, highly recommend brushing up on your Superior Kang knowledge if you have not already. I ended up using 2 revives on this one. Should have been 1, but I messed up a special 1 dex in Phase 4. Totally on me. Not going to say it was the game or anything. I just messed it up personally. So this can be done very, very cost efficiently. Legacy's challenges are very cost efficient, and I can't say that about the other two, at least with the character that they require and things like that. But if you want to have a good time and get the Deathless King Groot piece very easily, I recommend doing one of these 2 challenges, whatever you fancy, whatever you feel like doing. That's your easiest way to get the Deathless King Groot piece, and that is your easiest way to get a start on these Carina challenges. So, moving on to the next challenge, I did Fintechs next. So what I did right after the Stark Spidey runs is I jumped right into Eternity of Pain, Grief Incarnate. You can only use Tigra and Jabari Panther. So I just ranked up my Jabari Panther on this account to rank 4. I have had my Tigra up at rank 4 for a while, and of course I've already had my 5-star Tigra ascended for the longest time, since before I even had 6-star Tigra. So, I will say, without a doubt, this will be the most challenging objective for 99% of the player base. If you do not know how to use Tigra efficiently, I'm not talking about you know how to use her because you've played with her in Arena and you understand her abilities. I'm talking you have a fundamental understanding, or beyond a fundamental understanding of spacing heavy counters and when to use your special attacks, how to manage your senses, the whole 9 yards. If you don't have a solid grasp on how to use Tigra, you might want to wait on this challenge, learn, get her to at least rank 4, rank 5, highly recommend rank 5, and if you can ascend, do that as well. This challenge is not for the faint of heart. This is a very difficult challenge. I quite enjoyed it because I am a Tigra player. I've been playing her since release, so being one of the people who started the Tigra train, I was very comfortable in this challenge, and I did very well because of that. I only ended up using 10 single revives and 4 team revives, and the team revives, I didn't even use all of the champions that I would revive, so it ended up being more like, an additional 4 or 5 single revives in total, because team revives were really just spent on the 6-star Tigra and the 6-star Jabari. Fights to watch out for in this challenge, definitely Warlock. You want to ideally have a Mystic Power back boost on for this. It makes your life a lot easier, and it allows you to more easily cycle your special 2s with Tigra. The way this fight works is Tigra has a synergy with Jabari Panther that allows her to nullify buffs with an unblockable hit of a special attack. So ideally, you turn off willpower, big thing for Warlock. That also applies to the next challenge, but I'll talk about that in a second. You turn off willpower, and you use Tigra, you intercept before you throw your special to get the guaranteed crits, then you throw your special 2. You don't need to worry about your senses per se, you really just need to throw that special 2, get the guaranteed crits, and chunk him down. I ended up using 1 revive on him, but again, I am a good Tigra player. Do not take my run and my stats for my run as what you should be expecting. I say that not to make myself sound like an asshole or make myself sound like, oh, look at me, I'm the best player. Yeah, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm here to tell you right now at face value, I am a good Tigra player. I knew what I was doing here. Do not expect to replicate this without a serious amount of practice and a serious amount of dedication to learning the craft of Tigra. Because if you do not, you are going to really struggle with this entire thing. Other fights to watch out for, MODOK can be quite annoying, so I would recommend just kind of boosting up for Jabari Panther, taking him down that way. Penny Parker, what I did for this fight was I just baited heavy attacks and used my own heavy with Tigra to counter it, and then I just survived long enough to get off a nice special 2. You can get this fight down in a few revives. It could be soloed, but the RNG and the AI cooperation needed for it is obscene. So I wouldn't bank on trying to solo that one. It could be done, but again, not in this particular environment without an ungodly amount of AI cooperation. Scorpion, this is one of your main Jabari Panther fights, so just something to look out for there. Overseer, I recommend Tigra over Jabari, honestly. You could use either, but my Tigra was higher ranked on my main account, so I ended up using her there, and it went very well. And then these 2 fights right here, Crossbones and Dormammu. These are Jabari Panther fights. You can't do them with Tigra. Tigra, of course, cannot handle Biohazard, so Jabari Panther handles Crossbones pretty well. As long as he's willing to throw special attacks, it is not a bad fight at all. And then Dormammu, the name of the game is throwing your special one as soon as you get it, trying to keep up as many buffs as you have because of the buffed up node. And make sure you're okay with the special 2 decks on Dormammu, because that will definitely come into play and definitely be helpful for surviving in this fight. And then, of course, Thanos, we all know Eternity of Pain Thanos. If you need a refresher on him, I recommend finding a video doing that. I don't have time to explain all of the intricate abilities of Thanos in this fight. I use Tigra. You can use Jabari. Either character will work. So, again, for this challenge, just to repeat what I said initially, 10 single revives and 4 team revives, but the team revives were used. I was not using the team revives to their fullest extent. So, take that for what you will. The next challenge that I did was the Mojo Challenge. Now, huge disclaimer for this challenge. I highly recommend rank 4 Sig 200 Mojo at the very least. I think that is going to be the easiest way for people to do this. Of course, the higher ranked Mojo, the better. And if you have a 7-star Mojo, throw him on the team. You're allowed to bring multiple Mojos. You're not just limited to the 6-star. My 6-star on this account is rank 3 Sig 20, so I definitely have some work to do before I want to tackle this one. The rank 3 does work, but it can be very painful on the second half of the lane here. I was cruising on my initial run. I had the 7-star rank 1 Mojo and the 6-star rank 3 Sig 180. I was cruising. I had passed Nick Fury. I'd only used 1 team revive, and then MODOK killed me. MODOK was very rough. I ended up using about 3 team revives on MODOK himself, so that was really rough. Blade was an easy solo. Terrax was about 1 or 2 single revives, and then I ended up using, I think, an additional 2 team revives on Dragon Man, and then maybe 1 more single revive. Dragon Man can be a little rough if he is not willing to throw special attacks, but out of all of the fights here, I would say MODOK and Warlock are definitely the most difficult. Warlock, like I said for the Tiger Challenge, you definitely want to take off willpower, and the name of the game for the Warlock fight is Intercept, use your special 1. That is literally it, and try and push him to special 2 so you don't get shocked, because the shock will definitely hurt Mojo because his health isn't that high. So I highly recommend taking off willpower, and again, like I said, Intercept Warlock to get the critical interruption thing to crit me with your best shot to get around that node, and then your special 1, Mojo's special 1, will nullify, so using your special 1 in tandem with the Intercept, you'll deal a decent bit of damage, and you will be able to get Warlock down. Shouldn't be that bad. Remember, as long as you take off willpower. I'm exacerbating that point because it is very, very important. MODOK is just, it's a slugfest. It really just is a slobber knocker. With the rank 4 Sig 200 Mojo, I think you'd have a much better time just kind of staying alive and letting some of your prompts and completing your prompts of the degen triggers, and then when you have the big Fury, your block damage will definitely increase against MODOK because he has essentially no block proficiency. So I highly recommend for this challenge, you want a rank 4 Sig 200 Mojo at the very least. Rank 3 can do it. I did do it with my rank 3, but I think you could be a lot more cost efficient with a rank 4 Sig 200 with the Ghost Rider relic if you have it. If not, just any high level Mystic relic and you will be absolutely fine. Again, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this, but for this challenge, I used 5 single revives and then 5 team revives. But team revives were only used for 2 characters, 7-star Mojo and 6-star Mojo. So, yeah, this one was almost worse than the Tiger one. It was comparable almost. Very similar-esque in the revives that I used. So I definitely recommend rank 4 Sig 200 Mojo for this. I think your life will be a lot easier if you go down that path. So the final 2, I ended up doing these back-to-back in the second stream of the day, the Grandmaster's Gauntlet runs. So the first one I did was the Avengers one. Highly recommend doing that one first because it gives you a 2-star Baron Zemo, and that makes the Zemo Gauntlet run a lot easier. So for this run, I believe I used 3 single revives and 2 team revives for the whole thing. My team on the main account, I'm going to build it here, but this will not be my final team for this account. My team was Iron Man, Thor. So there's Thor, there's Iron Man. I had Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and Black Widow. So I only have a 5-star Black Widow right now. And then I had Ant-Man. So this challenge can be rough if you don't have the proper characters ranked. Black Widow as a 6-star, highly recommend ranking her up, getting her SIG as high as possible. She is an absolute MVP. I was able to solo so many different fights with my 6-star rank for Black Widow. It impressed the hell out of me. I soloed Korg, I soloed Thing, I soloed Spider-Ham. So many fights that she just shuts down completely. And especially if you have that Black Widow relic attached to her, she is a menace in this challenge. So I highly recommend Black Widow, get her ranked up. She will serve you very well in this challenge. And it's really just about getting the core characters ranked up to a minimum of 6-star rank 3. You definitely want to invest some SIG levels into specific characters. Thor and Black Widow are the champs that come to mind. Thor is really helpful for that Killmonger fight towards the end of the path. Makes it a breeze. I did it with my 6-star rank 3. It only took me 2 revives. At that point, I had only used 1 single revive and 2 team revives. And that was it up to that point. So Killmonger was the only big expense of the path. Really was not that big of a deal. And then some other fights to watch out for. Domino can be kind of annoying. You want to use Iron Man there. You want to use Ant-Man for Dragon Man and use your Pym particles to trigger power stings. When you consume 3 Pym particles with a heavy attack, you activate a power sting on Dragon Man. So that's the way to do the Dragon Man fight. It's kind of slow, but it is very effective. And if your Ant-Man is at least 6-star rank 3 like mine was, you can get it done in 1 revive, and that's what I did. So just to look at the quest and see if there's any fights that I should be additionally mentioning. Dr. Doom, you can use Ant-Man or Hawkeye here. I ended up using my 7-star rank 1 Hawkeye, and I was able to get a solo. Terrax, I'd recommend Thor. I think he's the best option. Same for Vision. MODOK, you can use either Hawkeye or Black Widow. Spider-Ham, you want to use Black Widow. Wolverine Weapon X, you want to use Iron Man. Thing, Black Widow. Korg, Black Widow. Dragon Man, like I said, you want to use Ant-Man. Black Panther, I ended up using Hawkeye. Hawkeye is actually very good for this challenge. If you know how to use Hawkeye well, you will benefit a lot from using him in this challenge. So definitely recommend using him. Nightcrawler, I used Iron Man. You can do the Nightcrawler trick now. It is back in the game. It has been for some time now, where you throw a light attack when he has his timer. He will trigger the swashbuckling mode and he won't evade. So that's a super easy Iron Man fight. You can use Hawkeye for Spider-Gwen. I think that's really the only option because she's immune to ability accuracy reduction, so Black Widow just won't work. Iron Man for Domino, Ant-Man for Mojo, very easy fight. You can use either Ant-Man or Hawkeye for Immortal Abomination. You could also probably use Black Widow there. Iron Man for Apocalypse, Ant-Man for Sasquatch, although I did almost solo Sasquatch with Hawkeye, so it is definitely possible. I think a 7-star rank 2 Hawkeye could probably solo Sassy with Despair. You want to use Thor for Killmonger. You want to use Iron Man for Void. Full heal and boost for this Void fight if you're using Iron Man. Definitely do that. You do not want to be caught in this Void fight without full health because the damage you take is very high. And then Nick Fury, I think it was a team effort. You can really use anybody here. Iron Man would work. Hawkeye would work. It doesn't matter. And then Thanos, again, it doesn't really matter who you decide to use. It's just a slobber knocker against Thanos. Remember how to fight Thanos. Look into his abilities. Find a video on YouTube that goes over the Gauntlet Thanos. Again, I don't have the time in this video, but I'm just saying make sure you do that before you tackle this challenge so you are well prepared going into it. And then the final challenge was the Baron Zemo challenge. I've had my 6-star Zemo ranked up for the longest time. I think he was like my 2nd or 3rd rank 5. This was way before these challenges even existed. And this challenge is really fun. I ended up using 21 revives on my main. I keep saying my main account. It's natural at this point. I have to stop myself from saying it, but I did use 21 revives on this challenge with the full team of 5 Zemos. I think a good run could be 15 to 25 revives. I think that is a good run with a decent amount of AI cooperation. I know Karate Mike, the man who created this challenge, he did it in 13 revives, which is very good. He also had fantastic AI cooperation against Dragon Man, so don't expect your runs to be as great as that. If they are, great. You were lucky against Dragon Man because he's really the biggest pain point in this entire quest for Zemo is getting Dragon Man to cooperate with you. So I could have probably spent maybe 5 less revives if Dragon Man was willing to throw specials, but he just wasn't. So instead of it being 16, it was 21. It is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. It was still a very good, very cost efficient run. I would say, who are you going to use for all these champions? But you're using Zemo for every fight. Just some fights to watch out for. Vision can be pretty annoying. Do not let him get to a special 3 early. You want to maximize your damage by going for your special 2, getting the root, and then going for a relic right after. Ideally, going for the relic while you have the Fury from him being immune to bleed. So when Zemo hits an opponent that is immune to one of his effects, like bleed, he gains a Fury. So by the time you finish your special 2 root, you should still have a Fury ready to go. So throw your relic while you have the Fury, then go in for a full combo. You can probably get him down in 1 to 2 revives relatively easily. Korg is a pretty difficult fight. Zemo's mediums are non-contact, so you can do medium, light, medium, and not have to worry about Korg evading, or you can do light, medium, whatever you fancy, it will work. Once you get 2 decelerates on Korg, he can't evade, and then after that it's easy peasy. But obviously it's Gauntlet Korg, so it's not going to be as easy as I just said. We already talked about Dragon Man. The whole strat for that fight is to hopefully bait special attacks and then build up to your own special 3, parry a bunch to build up Furies, and launch a big special 3. Mike did it in 1 to 2 revives, I think. I did it in like 5. It really depends on your AI cooperation, so expect Dragon Man to be one of the worst fights on this path. Nightcrawler and Spider-Gwen are pretty easy Zemo fights, not going to talk about them too much. Domino, the whole strat for this fight, I'm upset I didn't realize it sooner, is just use your special 1. Just use your special 1 every time you bait a special, you gain a bar power, use your special 1. There's a chance that your bleed will stick, and if it sticks, it will start to deal a very decent amount of damage, so it's just survive as long as you can. If you can heal for this fight, I recommend it, because you can probably solo if you start this fight with full health and you're boosted. Zemo does surprisingly well against this Domino. Mojo, the faster you can kill Mojo, the better, because if you start to die quickly and you allow him to build up his prompts, he's going to start triggering the hater buffs on you, and you get the degen with the big Fury. So ideally, full heal for this. Do your Zemo loop, get your bleeds built up, and try and kill him as fast as you can. I-Bomb, kind of the same thing. Ideally, you do want to heal, but you just want to get a few bleeds on I-Bomb and then just kind of chill, let the bleeds do the work. You don't need to worry about him too much. And then the rest of these fights, really not that bad. Mostly self-explanatory. Void can be a little tricky with Zemo, but it is not that bad. I recommend going to check out my stream and how I fought this Void with Zemo. I ended up using 1 revive, but I definitely could have done it in 0 if I had healed up for my first run. You definitely want to heal for this fight as well. There's a few fights in the Zemo run specifically where you definitely need to heal to full, or at least as close to full as you possibly can get. And then Thanos is a Zemo fight, because every fight in here is a Zemo fight. So yeah, for this run, like I said, I used 21 revives in total. Could have been a little less, but it's all up to the Dragon Man AI cooperation if you're going to end up using 1 or you use 6. Really just depends on what Dragon Man is feeling on that particular day. So, guys, that is going to be it. Please let me know if you have any other questions, any other recommendation or inquiries about champions to rank up, recommendations about relics. Let me know. I will try and answer as many of them as I can. And be on the lookout for maybe some potential free-to-play account streams over the next couple of days. I won't be able to tackle all of these right now, but I can definitely do some of them. So we'll see how many I decide to take on for the free-to-play account. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and please hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you all in the next one. Good luck with these challenges. Peace.